good afternoon, everybody. My name is Julie. I'll be your facilitator for Friday's Lunch and Learn. Today, we're going to be talking about music videos in PowerPoint. I do have the chat and the Q&A open on another monitor over here, so I'll be monitoring that. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and post them. Here is our agenda for this afternoon. We're just going to go into PowerPoint. We're going to look at all of the ribbons, just do a quick overview of PowerPoint. And then we're going to specifically look at the design ribbon for selecting a background and the insert ribbon, because from the insert ribbon, you can collect pictures from your own device, from stock images that Microsoft Office now includes in your software. It's also, they also own Bing, so you can do a search from within most of the applications within Microsoft Office. Then I'm going to go out to Google and show you how to do a Google search. We're also going to look at Google Docs and how you can utilize those to assist in completing your video, different transitions, setting up timings, and inserting your music. So typically when you think about PowerPoint, you think about a presentation tool that you can put text, diagrams, animation, images, all of that. But videos is something that I think is very important. And if you're looking for something to do for Christmas that won't cost you any money, this is a great idea because you can put together a video in a very short amount of time, depending on how long it takes you to go through all of your pictures. Very short amount of time, and you can share that with your family or friends. I do this quite frequently. I put together videos just as a surprise and send them to people or whatever the case may be. So we're going to have a lot of fun this afternoon. That is our agenda. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and grab a new blank presentation. And you can see when I'm in PowerPoint and I do that I have the opportunity to come down here and select a specific background, or I can just select a blank presentation and it will take me into PowerPoint. Over here on the right, you may have noticed that design ideas populated. This is an intelligent agent that Microsoft Office now includes in Microsoft PowerPoint. It's really nice and it's very helpful when you're creating the videos, especially when you're putting, 2 or 3 pictures on one slide, because it gives you these design ideas and it saves you a lot of time thinking about, how should I put the picture on there? What should the layout look like? So if you don't think you're very creative, which I don't think I'm very creative, so I can say that honestly, the design ideas really helps out and it expedites you creating the video. So when you first go into PowerPoint, I'm going to go ahead and just close that. It'll pop back up anytime we add something to a slide. But you have all of your ribbons. But like I said, today we're going to focus on looking at, first of all, the design ribbon. So if you want to put just a solid background color in, you can possibly do that. I wouldn't suggest grabbing something too flashy because you want your pictures to be what folks are focusing on, not your background. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to select a darker background. There's my design ideas again. That came up in pure black. I'm going to go ahead and just change that to maybe a solid blue. There we go. If you've been in webinars with me before, you know that I tend to go for the blues, blue colors. So I'm just going to use that for my background, but you can select anything you would like to. And then I'm going to come back over to my home ribbon real quickly. I'm going to go ahead and delete these text boxes. Because we're going to do all graphics today. Now you can certainly add text in there if you'd like to. You could do some call outs if you want somebody to be saying something specifically, and I'll show you how to do that as well. So the first thing I'm going to do after I delete those text boxes is I'm going to come over here to the insert ribbon. So the first thing that I always do when I'm setting up these videos is I just place all of the pictures in that I want to use. And then I worry about the transitions and animations. If you want to put those in there, you can certainly put those in, setting up the timing. And then I do the audio overlay with my music that I want to use. So from the insert ribbon, I'm going to focus right here on pictures. And you can insert pictures from this device, from stock images, or from online pictures. And I'm going to go ahead and just show you all three of those. So let's start at the very bottom here and go to online pictures. So say, for instance, you do decide to do this for a Christmas present, or just as something fun to do. You can show it in your Zooms if you're doing family or friends Zooms. You can bring that up. So I'm just going to go ahead and grab a picture that says Merry Christmas to start our video off. Now I can grab as many of these as I want to. And again, this is Bing. This is the search engine Bing that Microsoft owns. So if I want to, I can go ahead and I can select multiple images from within this. You can see that I have one selected. Down here it says insert, in parentheses it says one. So I can go ahead and grab as many of these as I want to. For right now, I'm just going to insert the one image. And there it is. I'm done with my picture format, so I'm going to go ahead and just close that. Now you can see what happens is that the design ideas is giving you some different suggestions. And that's where really comes in handy, because I don't have to do any of the thinking about, how should I shape my picture? How should I put it on the slide, and so on. So I like this, but I don't like that gray background or the gray border for the picture. So if I want to, I can go in and I can change that. I'm just going to go ahead and maybe select from borders. Maybe I want this to be just a white border. So that looks pretty nice. Nice way to start off our video. You'll note that when I go to insert and to pictures and use the online pictures or use the search engine Bing, it always comes up with this little text box saying that the author is licensed. I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to delete that to eliminate it from my video. And we have our first slide up and ready to go. So from there, I'm going to go back to my home ribbon, and I'm just going to grab a new slide, and I'm going to grab a new blank slide, and we'll go back to the insert ribbon. And again, you can go to online pictures. More than likely, you're not going to use a lot of online pictures or a lot of stock images if you're putting together a video for friends or family. And so this time I'll just go to stock images and we'll take a look at what they have to offer. So again, I'm just going to maybe put in happy holidays. And it's telling me that there are no matches. Now along the top, you'll note that with these stock images, you have icons, you have cutout people, you have stickers, you have illustrations. So you can utilize any one of those. I'm going to go ahead and go back to images, and it has all kinds of different subjects here. So we've got water, indoors, competition. How about if I just put in snow? There we go. Now we've got some snow. So we'll just pretend like we know these two kids in this particular picture, and maybe we know these people that are snow skiing. And there's somebody else that's snow skiing, or somebody that's creating a snow angel. That's kind of cute. So we can grab, I'll just go ahead and grab all three of these because I want to show you what happens with the design when I insert all three of them. So when I insert all three pictures are there. They're layered. So if I were to manipulate them myself, the first thing that you would want to do is deselect all of them. then just select one. And I deselected those by coming over in the blue area in the background where my pictures are not located on my slide, and I just simply clicked. If I want to grab one of those to decrease the size of it, and I'm just going up here to my handlebar, and I went to one of the edges so that as I'm decreasing the size, it decreases proportionately. And I can move those around. And you can see that I can reduce the size of those or and manipulate them, or I can choose one of these design ideas over here. And if I click on it, boom, I'm ready to go. I have slide number 2 done and ready to go. And you can go through and look at the different design ideas. Once you've selected one, if you think you want to use something else, you can certainly change your mind. If you go back to the slide, it'll bring back up the design ideas. Or if it doesn't, you can go to your design ribbon, and all the way over here on the right-hand side is design ideas. So we'll just go ahead and select one of those, and we have slide number 2 taken care of. So I'm going to go back to my home ribbon and to new blank slide. Now, some of you might be asking me, why did I actually choose a background when I'm not showing it? Eventually, we'll probably show some of the background, but it's up to you. You can have that background be white if you want to, or you can do it slide by slide, and you could select a different background for each slide if you'd like. So on slide number 3, we're going to go back to insert, and I'm going to go to pictures. So we looked at online pictures with Bing. We looked at some different stock images. That is fairly new to Microsoft Office. And now I'm just going to go to this device. And what I did for our lunch and learn this afternoon, I have to go back to my desktop, and I have a folder on here. There we go, making videos with PowerPoint. And I just have some pictures that I grabbed. So I can go ahead and I can insert those. I'm just going to insert those maybe one at a time. So we'll go ahead and click on insert. So there's another image, and it comes up with my design ideas. If I want to, I can hold off on selecting a design, and I can insert another picture if I'd like, but I'm just going to go ahead and maybe select this design. And you can see a pattern here. I'm going back to home, and I'm going to blank. And then I'm going to insert and to pictures, and you're just going to continue to repeat this. So I'm just going to go back to this device, and we'll continue to put these various pictures in that. I don't like that one because it cuts off the folks in. Let's see. There we go. That's all right. We'll go ahead and use that one. I'm going to go back to home. And another blank slide, go back to insert and the pictures and to this device. And we'll go ahead and maybe on this one, we'll put in a couple of different pictures. So I've got one picture of the dog there. We're going to go back to insert and to pictures, this device, and we'll grab another one from a couple more from the winner. And you can see that now it says, okay, hey, that's great. Do you want what background would you like to use? So we can go ahead and use that. There's another way that you can bring these in. I'm going to go ahead and grab a blank slide again. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm just going to split my screen. So I'm going to, and split my screen, I'm taking the PowerPoint view that we're looking at, the window that we're looking at, and I'm clicking up here in the orange, and I'm just going to go over here and I'm going to snap this. And when I do that, you can see, it's kind of hard to see, but there's a shadow halfway on my monitor. And if I let up, it then says, okay, that's great. What other, you've got all of these other applications open. What other folder would you like to show on the opposite side of your screen? And I'm just going to grab my pictures. So from here, if I want to, I can drag and drop these pictures. So let's say that I want to use this picture of the dog. So I could just drag and drop it over there. It's a little bit faster than going to insert in this device and selecting. So that's an option for you. Here's some different designs. It's got a double of her. I might have brought that over twice. That's probably why it's doing that. So we'll go ahead and select that. And again, we can go to new slide and grab in blank slide. And which ones haven't I used here? We'll just go ahead and pull that over. Grab the design that you want to use. We'll get these in, and then I'm going to show you a couple more options for bringing in pictures. So, you know, these are all on my device, but I also have a lot of pictures in the cloud. So I'm going to show you how to go in and transfer information from the cloud to PowerPoint very easily as well here once I get some of these other pictures in. Go ahead and drag and drop this one. Let's see. There we go. And again, if you don't want to click on the down arrow, all I did this time was I've set up a pattern here that I'm using the same background. So if I just click on new slide, it'll keep bringing in the slides. If you don't want a slide, you can select it, hit the delete key, and it will delete it for you. So let's just go ahead and we'll get to maybe some summer pictures. I don't know about you guys, but I would be happy to get back to summer. And I've got another one here, so we'll go ahead and drag and drop that picture in. And sometimes it's easier to put, you know, 4 or 5 different slides in or blank slides in at the same time, rather than having to go back to the home ribbon and dragging and dropping that. So let's pull this picture over. Go to our next slide. Let me see. Yep, and again, I brought that one over twice. Okay, so there we've got some different pictures in there. I'm going to go ahead and close this up, and I'm going to go to my iCloud. I already had this. I had already logged into this prior to the webinar this afternoon. So I'm just going to go ahead. I had some pictures set up here. So I've got some pictures here that I can use. And again, if I want to use these, I can select the picture and I can copy that image. You can't drag these, but I'm just going to go ahead and copy the image, and then I'm going to paste it in. So I went ahead and I just utilized, oops, we don't want to do that. Hang on. Let's go ahead and double click on the picture itself. There we go. And I can go ahead and just copy this image. And again, these are just from my iCloud account. Now, when I copy this and I pasted it in over here, you can see that it looks like the picture didn't come in. However, if you go to the controls and you click on the down arrow and select your paste options, there's a picture option. So I'm going to go ahead and select that. And now it's generating the different design ideas. And I can pick from any one of those that I want to, or if I don't like one of those, you know, you can ask to see more design options. Many of these are cutting off the focus of the picture and why I want it in there. That one looks okay. We'll go ahead and select that one. So that's just grabbing some items from the cloud. And that's, I was using my iCloud, but you can use any any form of cloud computing that you would like to. So it looks like now we have approximately 16 pictures. The next thing that I want to do is I want to show you how to maybe insert something like maybe the puppy's saying something. So if I go to insert and I go to shapes, underneath shapes, I have all these different options, but down towards the bottom, I have something called callouts. And in my callouts, I can go ahead and I can grab a callout, and you'll note that my mouse face turns to just the plus sign, and I can go ahead and just put my callout in. Now, I can change this. I can make it longer. I can bring this little orange dot over so that it's coming right out of the puppy's mouth. I can pull that over a little bit. I don't want to cover up her face. Bring this over. Maybe if you don't want the green, you can come up to shape fill and you can tell it that you want it to be white. It's also got a shape outline. You can see a little bit of green there. So I'm just going to come up and tell it that maybe I want that to be black. And if you want to change the weight of it, you can change the weight of it. Now what I can do is, you'll note that it's allowing me to type in there. And you can't see what I was typing because it's white on white. So I'm gonna have to go ahead and select that, come back over here to home, and I'm just gonna change the color of my text. And there we've got a little call out. So that's how you would put a call out in. Probably need to make that a little bit smaller and bring it down just a tad bit. And then I can bring this over so it's coming right out of our mouse. So that's how you would go in and utilize some of the different shapes you can put in callouts, or any of these other shapes that you want to. Okay, so I promised you that we were going to look at the difference between a Bing search and a Google search. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up Google. I have that right here. So let me just go ahead and scroll down to the bottom. I need some new slides here first. So we'll just grab a few new slides. And now I'm going to go ahead and do a Google search as opposed to a Bing search. And if you do a Google search, what you'll need to do is it defaults to all. I'm just going to go ahead and click on images, and it will give me multiple images. My personal opinion is I like to use Google better because it gives me more options. It's a little bit easier to use Bing because it's built into the Microsoft Office suite, but you can use both. I just wanted to make sure that that I shared both with you. So we'll go ahead and select this picture. Now, the thing to remember when you're in another search engine, when you're actually on the internet, and regardless, you could use Bing on the internet, but the one thing that you want to remember is all of the pictures that we're looking at right now are thumbnails. And you don't want to copy or you don't want to download a thumbnail, because when you bring it into Office, any Office product, whether it's Microsoft PowerPoint, Word, Excel, it may become blurry or pixelated. So what you want to do is when you find the picture that you want to use, go ahead and click on that thumbnail. Now I have a better image, and I can go ahead and I can drag and drop that. Oops, not going to let me do that. Okay, so we'll do a right click and we'll copy that image, and we'll come over to PowerPoint and we can right click and paste. And we can bring that picture in. Again, it gives me all my design ideas. I'm just going to leave that one. I kind of like that. So there's the difference between Bing and Google. And if you want to utilize that, you certainly can. So I'm going to go ahead and minimize this and go back to PowerPoint for a second. So when you're putting your slides in, And it looks like, how many do we have? We've got, I need a couple more pictures there, but we've got just about 20 slides. So let's go in and let's say that I want to change my order around. Maybe I want, maybe the pictures from the summer, I want to be at the very beginning of my video, and the winter ones to be at the end. So if I want to reorder these, I can, and there's a couple of different ways to do this. I can drag them. I can drag this up to position number 2 and let up on my mouse. So now I've reordered my slides. It automatically put the slide that was in number 12. I moved it up to number 2, and it just dropped everything else down. If I go into my slide sorter view, so Microsoft PowerPoint has different views. Right now, we've been working in the normal view. You've got your slide sorter view, you've got your reading view, you've got your slideshow. So let's just go into slide sorter view, and you can see what that looks like. Now it's giving me thumbnails again of all of my pictures. And if I want to move these, I can move those a little bit easier from the slide sorter view. So I can just drag and drop those and reorder all of my slides. Now, if you decide you don't want 17 and 18, I can just go ahead and select that slide, hit the delete key. If I wanted to select more than one slide at one time, I can go ahead and hold down the shift key, and it will select as many slides as you want it to. I can just hit the delete key on my keyboard, and we've eliminated those 2 slides. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to save this. And you're going to save it just as you would any other PowerPoint. I'm going to put it in my folder. Today is December 11th. We'll just call this the December 11th demo. Now that I have that saved, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to minimize that. And you can see my messy desktop there. I'm going to go back to the internet for a second and into my Gmail account. And you can do this with, I'm using the Google Drive. There's different options for you to utilize cloud computing, but I'm going to show you one way that you can utilize cloud computing that might save you a little bit of time if you're putting together a video. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to my 9 dots or to the Google apps, and I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to select my Google Drive. So within the Google Drive, you have multiple different options. You can see that I have a lot of different projects going on here. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here to new, and you can create a Google Doc, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms. There's lots of different options. So Google Docs is like Microsoft Word, Sheets is like Excel, and Google Slides is like PowerPoint. Before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and do a file upload. So I'm going to tell it that I want to do a file upload, and I'm going to go to my desktop and down to our folder for today's webinar. And I'm going to upload our December 11th demo. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to select that file. I'm going to click on open. And you can see that it's loading with the pictures. It might take a little bit more time. It's not terrible though. You can see that it's less than a minute left. Obviously, the more pictures that you have, the longer it's going to take to upload. So that is finishing the upload. It says, okay, it's done. I'm going to go ahead and just double click on that to open it. And it's loading my Google Slides. Note that it's not loading PowerPoint, because what it did was it transferred my PowerPoint into the Google Slides. So now you can see they look very similar. And here they're all coming in slowly but surely. And there are all of my pictures. Now, the reason that I thought it was important to share this with you today was because if you're putting together a video, whether it's for Christmas or a surprise birthday party, an anniversary, end of the school year, beginning of the school year, whatever the case may be, you can have other people sharing pictures with you. And I've actually done this before a couple of years ago. I put on my husband and I put on a surprise birthday party for a friend of ours. And what I did was I just started a blank Google Slides presentation, and everyone that was invited to the surprise party, I shared this document with them. And to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on share, and this will allow me. I'm just going to go ahead and grab a friend of mine. I do this frequently. I use her as my guinea pig, so she'll know to ignore the email when she gets it. And so I can share it with one person or 250 people. It doesn't matter. Once you've typed in their email address, you can determine, and each person can be different. You can determine if they can view, if they can comment, or if they can edit. And I want them to be able to edit because I want them to be able to upload pictures for me. So again, this is saving me time. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just stick with the default, which is the editor. I'm going to go ahead into message and say, please upload any pictures you would like included in the 2020 Christmas video. And what this is going to do, when I click on send, this is physical, this is sending them an email. And what it's going to do is they'll see that the message is the body of the email, but they will also have a link in there to this particular Google Doc. And this will allow them to come in, take a look at the pictures that are already in there, and they can insert pictures themselves. Now, I doubt that Pat is live, so she probably won't get that, but that's a great way to share your information, or for people to do a group project together if you would like to, and it saves you a little bit of time as well. So once they have uploaded their pictures, we're just going to pretend that somebody uploaded some pictures. Then what you can do is you can come back over here to File and download this document as a PowerPoint again. So you can see that you've got different options. You've got PowerPoint just as a regular document, a PDF, a JPEG, and so on. But we want this to be as a PowerPoint because we need to go in and finish up with our transitions and adding our music and looking at some different timing aspects. So I'm just going to go ahead and say that I want to download it as a PowerPoint presentation. In my lower right-hand corner, it's downloading. I can go ahead and click on that, and it will bring up my PowerPoint. I just need to click on Enable Editing, and you can see that it downloads very, very nicely to back and forth between Google Docs and Microsoft PowerPoint. If you have OneDrive, you can use OneDrive. A lot of the cloud computing works a lot the same. So I just typically use the Google Drive, so that's why I shared that with you today. So now that we're back at PowerPoint, so we're no longer on the internet, we're no longer on my drive. I'm just going to go ahead and close some of this up so we don't get confused. I don't need actually I don't need any of this because we grabbed some stuff from there. So now we've got all of our pictures. So that's the first thing that you want to do. You want to grab all those pictures and put them in place. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to transitions. And on transitions, I want to insert a transition between every slide. So right now, I'm going to back up a little bit. Right now, if I were to go to show you the PowerPoint, I would come down to the lower right-hand corner and go into slideshow, or I could go to slideshow and tell it to show from the beginning or from the current slide that you're on. So I'm just going to go ahead and say start from beginning. You'll note that the keyboard shortcut is F5. So if you're a keyboard person, you could just hit F5 and it will begin your presentation. And as I click on these, you can see that it's just kind of a blunt. There's nothing, bringing us from one slide to the other. So we're going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and remember the slide sorter view that we used earlier. I'm going to go ahead and click on the slide sorter view. I'm going to select slide number 1, and I'm going to come over here to my transitions. Now you can see that there are multiple different transitions. If you want to see a preview, you can go ahead and click on it. It'll give you a preview of the transition. And note that there's a little star in the lower right-hand corner. That's telling me that slide number 1 has a transition, but slides 2 through 17 do not. Once we add a transition to the remainder of the slides, you will see that little star in the lower right-hand corner. So I'm just going to go ahead and we'll just show you a few more of these transitions. Once you've selected a transition, if you want to, you can come over and you can say, if I selected cover, I can tell the cover to be from the right, from the top, the left, the bottom, the top right, the bottom right. There's a lot of decisions to be made. And if you want to see that again, you can click on preview and it will show you one more time. What I typically do when I'm putting together the videos is if I come over here and I click on this down arrow, there is an option for random. So what I do is I typically just take a random transition. So I don't know what it's going to be from slide to slide or from viewing to viewing. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to click on apply to all. And when I do that, you'll see that little star will appear underneath each one of our slides. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It's telling me that my transitions are set. So now when I go back to my slideshow, you can see that there's just a nice little transition between each slide that we're looking at. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the escape key and we're going to go back out. Also on the transitions ribbon, you have the option to determine the duration, and the duration that I'm referring to is the duration of the transition. So if you want that transition to be very slow or very fast, you can increase or decrease the duration time of the transition. I typically don't play around with that a whole lot. Sometimes it can be useful if your audio is just off by a split second or so to increase the timing or decrease the timing of the duration of the transition. That's kind of an easy way to have things match up. But I'm going to go ahead and select slide number 1, and then I'm going to move over to the very last option. And that is advanced slide. Now, right now on advanced slide, we have a check mark in the box for on mouse click. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select after, and I'm going to take the check mark out of the on mouse click, and we can select how long we want the slide to be up. So if there's a particular slide that you like better than another one, that you want to have up a little bit longer than another, you can go ahead and select a duration, and note that now I have a star and I have 7 seconds underneath here. If you want each slide to be the same amount of time, just go back off to 5. Again, you can click on apply to all, and it has that 5 seconds on each one of our slides automatically. But again, if you want to change it, maybe on slide number 8, maybe I want that one to stay up just a little bit longer because there's more detail in that particular picture. So I can have that one be 8 seconds and the rest be 5. It's completely up to you, however long you want the pictures or the slides to be up. So now when I go to my slideshow, I'm just going to go ahead and click on slideshow, and you'll see that I don't have my hands on the mouse. We just need to wait for a little bit of time here, and it will go on to the next slide. And then in about another 3 seconds, because I have them, most of them on 5 seconds, so it'll go to my next slide, and so on. So we don't need to go through all of those. I'm going to go ahead and just hit the escape key, and I'm going to go back to the normal view. So when I go back to the normal view, we have a lot of stuff set up here. The next thing that I want to do is I want to go back to my insert ribbon. And remember, in the insert ribbon, we inserted pictures. We inserted a shape, and we did a call out. The other thing that I want to do on this insert ribbon today or this afternoon with all of you is to go to audio. So when I go to audio, I'm just going to say audio on my PC. Now you'll note that there's an option to record audio. So if you want to do a lecture, or if you want to do an introduction with your own voice, you certainly can do that by recording your own voice. But I have some music that we're going to add to our PowerPoint. So I'm just going to click on audio on my PC, and I'm going to go back up to my desktop, and we'll scroll down and find today's folder. And I have the song Happy that we're going to use. So when I double click or click on this song and click on insert, you'll see that now I have a little indicator saying here's my speaker. And when I inserted that, I have 2 more ribbons. I have the audio format, and I have the playback. So on the playback, there's a few things that you want to do over here. First of all, I'm going to tell the speaker to hide during slideshow. So when I go into my slideshow, I don't want my audience to be able to see that speaker. I also want my song to play across the slides. If you want it to start over, let's say that this is something that you're setting up in a lobby or in a particular room in your house, and you've got multiple guests that are coming in for a Christmas party or an event. Maybe sometime next year we can do that again. You might want to click on loop until stopped. And that way you won't have to worry about somebody starting the video over again. It will just continuously play for you. So those are the 3 that I focus on. We'll look at the fading in and fading out here in just a little bit, but I want to see where we are with our video. So when I click on slideshow, it should automatically start playing the song Happy. Should being the key word there. Let me see, what do I have going on? So I'm going to go ahead and select this again, playback. Make sure that my volume's up. Oh, start. In click sequence, let's go with automatically. That will help a lot. So I think I probably have my audio too loud now. So I'm just going to turn that down a little bit. Let's try this again. So now I'm going to go ahead and click on slideshow. Slides. I wonder, let me go ahead and just play it. Let's go ahead and play the song. Let me see if I'm not giving it, I might not be giving it enough time. Let's see that. Let's see if it's just not come up yet. Let me go ahead and delete that. Let's try this again. Insert audio, audio from my PC. Gonna tell it to play automatically, play across slides. Let's try that. Well, this worked earlier this morning. Bear with me, folks. We'll get there. Let me test one other thing. Let's just play it. Okay. So it's playing just fine from my PC. Oops. Let me try another song. Let's try that. Now I've got songs on here. I'm just not sure where they are, so bear with me. Maybe they're in downloads. Go ahead and close that up. Okay, let's go back to insert. All right. Automatically play across slides. Yeah, it's telling me that it can't play it. All right, let me look for another song. I know I've got songs on here. I'm just not sure where they're saved to. Or it might be faster just to go grab another song. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to YouTube. And I'm going to look for the song Brown Eyed Girl. And we'll go ahead and click on the song. Wait for our ad to go by. Okay, once the song is started, what I need to do is I'm going to come up here to the URL. So I'm going to go ahead and copy that address. And then I'm going to open up another tab and I'm going to look for an MP3 converter. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to paste that in. I'm going to tell it to convert. It's currently loading the video and it's converting the video. I'm going to go ahead and download this. And let's go back to our PowerPoint. Fingers crossed, we'll go back to insert and to audio on my PC. If I go to my downloads, we'll go ahead and grab that song. Once I've got that, I'm going to tell it to play automatically, play across slides. Let's give this a shot. Okay, here's another video that I put together. I just want to see maybe what the difference is if I'm forgetting something. So I've got play across slides, hide during show automatically. So if I go into this particular, this is a little bit different slideshow, but let me just go into this one. Why wouldn't it be able to play that media? All right, let's go to one other. I've got lots of different options here. I am not, I have to apologize, folks. I'm not sure what's going on here. I literally watched these this morning. But if you see when I click on play, it's putting a little message in there that you can't play the media. And so I'm not sure what is happening. However, let me go ahead and show you one other thing. I know we've got a few minutes left here. So let me go into my videos and into finished videos. Now, when you're in PowerPoint, after you lay the audio, and I promise that this really does work, you can play it from PowerPoint, or you can go to File and to Export, and you can tell it to export as a video. And what I usually do is just leave it at full HD. I use the recorded timings and narrations that I selected and click on Create Video. And I'm not going to do that because that takes a little bit of time, but I do want to go in and just show you. Here's that same video. Let me see, where did it go? Oops. Oh, here we went this one. So if I skip forward, so you can see this is what it looks like once you have exported it as. Okay, so it really does work. I apologize. I'm not sure what's going on. If you do have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm going to throw my email address back up there again. Just a folder. So here is my email address. It's juliehamiltondort65@gmail.com. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me. So you can insert that audio from DVDs, CDs, from your phone, whatever you feel. And if you want to email me when I get to figure this out, I would love to tell you what was going on here today. But I appreciate you joining me. Thanks. Have a great rest of your day, a safe weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next week for our Lunch and Learn, which is looking at combining different resources within Microsoft Office.